was out here. Huh?
So, Dato, so I would address it as Dato Ghazi Sheikh, Sheikh Ramli, right? Okay.
For sure, Dato Ghazi.
Dato Ghazi. And then, let's see. Wow. And would you want me to address you this, tell the audience this?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, up to you, up to you.
Yeah.
It's up to you. I just given the floor to you, leader.
Okay, no problem.
The rest is up to you.
No.
I thought it's relevant to have the context of ACA. That's all.
Sure. No.
And the award. I mean, to me.
Yes, and no problem. You will be receiving the award this year.
Will you be attending the awards dinner?
Yes, I am. Yes.
Tomorrow night.
Yes. So I shall address you in this format so that we will not look back on you, and then let's see. Okay. So what happens? The format is this: you shall take a look at the camera for just for a few seconds, and after I introduce you, then I will turn my head towards you, and then we will have a conversation.
Okay.
Like as though we are friends.
Yeah,
but we
sure,
are friends.
Of course we are. Yeah.
Go on.
Sure.
Okay. So, hi, welcome to the National Good Choice online news and hi, I'm Robin Stienberg, and welcome to my show again. Today we have a very special guest, and he's of great importance to Malaysia. He's none other than Dato Ghazi Sheikh Ramli, and he is actually known as the innovation evangelist, and he was actually a former senator in the Malaysian Parliament, and is without foremost advocate for innovation and creativity. He was the man behind Malaysia's drive to create a knowledge economy, which was encapsulated in the government's Vision 2020 campaign. Dato Ghazi is no stranger to the field of innovation and creativity, having founded both the Malaysian Association of Creativity and Innovation, which is known as MACRI, and the Global Innovation and Entrepreneurship Foundation, which is known as GIEF. His passion to drive innovation was recognized when he was invited to be the member of the board of trustees of Yayasan Inovasi Malaysia, Malaysian Innovation Foundation, which is known. As founder and chairman of GIEF, he is currently active in promoting green lifestyle for clean environment and sustainability for future generations. He has also authored several books, including A Credible Political Leader in the New Century, Challenges and Guides, Purple Beach, and more. And his next new book will be on bamboo, the next timber of the 21st century. Now, he also holds a bachelor's degree in accounting from the University of Canterbury, and he also spent over 36 years in business, including those listed in the KL Stock Exchange. Dato Ghazi, welcome to my show.
Hi, Robin, thank you.
You have a remarkable career and also a remarkable outlook in your political life, as well as what you've done today in terms of innovation. You have spearheaded even in the area of clean energy, I think, which is bamboo. Now, before we move along, tell us more about innovation. What is innovation to you? What is your perception?
All we must believe that innovation must start from creativity. Without creativity, there's no innovation. Creativity means you have to create something new. And from that new idea that you come up with, you must make sure that it is really new. Then you actually implement that new idea into a certain product or services with value. If there is value, then it becomes innovation. Otherwise, it becomes just a piece of art, a creative piece of art hanging on the wall, that kind of thing. So that's basically innovation. As long as you can think of doing something new in a different way, but make it having a value to whatever target audience in the form of product, services, systems, business model, whatever. So that's what innovation is all about.
And so moving ahead, how does the inspiration of innovation come about for you? You must have realized that the importance of innovation somewhere sometime in your life. When do you first saw the need that Malaysia needs innovation and creativity?
That's a good question. Way back in the early 90s, I was in the Senate as a senator, as you mentioned just now, middle of 80s, middle of 90s, sorry. And at that time, I was very much interested. My focus was really information communication technology, ICT. And I'm sure you know previous Prime Minister Dr. Made was promoting multimedia super corridor, and I was following his progress very well. And then I was really, I was also engaged in some business of ICT. Therefore, when I was in the Senate, I focused ICT and brought the ICT subject, make the senators aware that it is important in life. Now, that's ICT. So I've done that for the last 6 or 8 years. Then I thought when I finished my senatorship, I said, hey, I always like something challenging, learning something new, sharing something for the benefit of other people and for the nation. So I attended in the very early 2000, one conference in Europe organized by EACI, European Association of Creativity and Innovation. It was in Poland, I still remember. It's in the forest, it's a kind of resort. And when I attended that, oh my God, I saw the networking between all the different countries in Europe and what they're talking about creativity, innovation, and I said, wow, this is something exciting. I was already into ICT. You're talking of hardware, the brain power. Hardware, the technical part, whatever you have, the hardware, and the software is actually the brain power. You have a software to put into the hardware and the system, but you actually need creative thinking to put into in order to create more value. So this is where I see is a very nice and natural flow from my ICT days, talking about hardware and software, and then coming about creativity and innovation is just along the same journey. That's why I like it. It becomes an exciting discovery for me. And so when I went back, started talking to my friends in Malaysia in 2005, 2006, I managed to have some like-minded people, invited them for a retreat in Port Dickson, and there you are. So 2006 we said, okay, I think we need one association to promote this. So hence the birth of Malaysian Association of Creativity Innovation, or MACRI, that you mentioned just now.
And so Dato, Ghazi, about innovation for Malaysia, and what is it like for, in the past for Malaysia, and then moving forward, what was Malaysia like probably 25 years ago when it comes to innovation, for you, what you saw, and what is the difference do you see now moving forward into the future?
I think in the past, it was very much on a very traditional market. It was very manufacturing based. We have got a lot of resources, cheap labor. People come here, go to Malaysia, set up their base and export manufactured products. So it is that kind of model. Of course, there is very little creativity needed at that time from the workers because they come with their own model. You produce like this is the production system, and that's it. You ensure good quality control, you can do the export. Now, cut the story short, then came in the ICT. So you're bringing into the modern language, the modern business model, instead of just manufacturing base, now you go to more knowledge base, which is leveraging on ICT. Now, as a further extension to knowledge base, you got to zoom in into what else. The knowledge is so broad. So you zoom into the brain power. When you talk of brain power, you talk of creativity and innovation. And coincidentally, or rather, it's a very good development that when Prime Minister Dato took over a couple of years ago, then he saw the potential of this economic model. He revised it, created a new business model, economic model for Malaysia, which is innovation-led economy. So the entire country is talking about innovation now. There are various programs has been introduced, a lot of initiatives. Of course, the Malaysian journey is as well an innovative model by itself, meaning you dare to start something new, You dare to fail and learn from it. It is not all sweet, good stories, but we're learning at the same time. Because this is the part that I was very excited when I got the invitation from ACA to talk about innovation and the Malaysian experience.
Yes.
And what is it for the future?
It is.
Yeah.
And ladies and gentlemen, Dato Ghazi is actually here in Singapore to speak at a conference here by the invitation of ACA on the future and also moving forward for innovation with Malaysia and how important it is for Malaysia. Now, how does Malaysia today recognize innovation as the main focal point moving forward? Although you have a manufacturing base, you have resources, and you have the capability of the know-how from the people as well. How would that differentiate with your neighbors around the region? How unique Malaysia is going to be able to stand out?
These were the best opportunity, and I said, because the Prime Minister has already driven an innovation-led economy. There are a lot of initiatives at the national level, at the state level, and getting people involved in the whole thing. This particular journey is actually a wake-up call to people. Hey, look, you have knowledge. You know, we cannot just be used by others for their own benefit. Let us now create something of our own. Before we were buyers of products done by other people. The creative, innovative thinking is actually done overseas. We are the buyers. But now we are trying to say, let's change that. We are capable of creating our own products, services, systems, business models, what have you. Now, that has got to start from the grassroots. So this is part of the whole thing that I'm going to talk later on. Of course, we have to start from the top. And we've got to take a lot of initiatives. You've got to get other people understand what innovation is about.
Yes.
We've got to change the mindset of people that innovation is not about high technology, science fiction up in the sky or in the moon. It can also be done, creative, innovative thinking by the local people. And this is where I always like to focus. For example, Makri in the early days, we did a lot of programs, what we call grassroots innovation. We go around to the ground and to show to people, hey, actually, you are creative. You have done it before, out of need. Remember, invention is the necessity is the mother of all inventions. So because they required to do something in the villages, they had to look around for materials and they created something. We show a lot of proof. I have a collection of 500 different items, for example. We show proof that innovation can start from the grassroots and right unto the knowledge-based people, the products of the West, from Europe, from America, and the rest of it. So that is what the story is all about for Malaysia.
Now, in terms of innovation, you spoke about in grassroots and as well as education.
Yes.
How far will the government in Malaysia go in terms of investing knowledge base for the people, especially in the rural areas?
Yes.
You know, how far has that gone? Is the government prepared, or are they already, put initiatives in place, and as far as investment to encourage more, not just for the adults but also for the young?
Yes.
To have some form of education in school, and at the same time exposed to innovation and creativity as what you want to see.
Yes.
And how long would that take?
Actually, there are a lot of initiatives taking place simultaneously because the drive is initiated by the Prime Minister himself as a broad policy, and he encourages every ministry, every NGO, every other groups, or individual groups to really participate in their own way. So if you've got to talk about grassroots innovation, for example, there's one other foundation that I'm also a board member, which is you mentioned earlier, Yayasan University Malaysia, Malaysian Innovation Foundation. Now, that foundation is actually The patron is the Prime Minister himself, and the chairman is the Minister of Science, Technology and Innovation. I'm a board member. So that really focused on the grassroots innovation. We go out and try to identify whatever they have been doing. The good ones, we adopt them, so to carry the hand, so to speak, and provide all the assistance. For example, give them more knowledge, give them more skill, and fund them in order to carry out through to improve whatever they've done. I'll give you an example. The best example here is related to my bamboo. We'll talk about bamboo later. But there is one particular individual in Sabah who has done extensive research on his own because of his passion for music. He has come up with a bamboo saxophone, for example. It's the first in the world. And now, because we encourage him, I like music, so I'm also asking him to explore into coming up with the entire set of other musical instruments in bamboo. So we are along that journey. Now that is one aspect, one example, and we talk with the young. There is another, the Ministry's Wives Association, for example, led by the wife of the Prime Minister. She focused all her activities on the young, as you say, trying to engage the young so that they have that confidence of being creative right from small, have the confidence to go through and do whatever we like. So the seeds of innovation are actually already given at this early stage. And it is already a massive movement, because once it is successful at an NGO level, what happened was, there is another ministry called Ministry of Rural Development, which has, I think, about more than 500 different educational centers throughout the country. Now, they have adopted this model of cultivating, initiating creative thinking to the young. And this will go spread to the rural areas. And this is where it's needed most. Because in the city, people are more educated, have more money, they can send their children to good colleges, and they are exposed through that. So that's some of the key initiatives that has been done.
And what will be the future like for Malaysia? What do you see in Malaysia?
I think the future is extremely very bright. If whatever lessons we have learned now, we actually undertake them in a very positive way and keep on improving to achieve what we want to do, and we should never give up, then I think we will achieve what we want. We want to be a nation of innovation. A nation of innovation means it has got to be very inclusive. Inclusive innovation means it has got to involve not just from the top, the scientists, the leaders at the top, including the grassroots. So this inclusive innovation is what we are talking about. In fact, I'm going to touch this subject a little bit in my presentation.
Now, you spoke about lessons learned in innovation for the Malaysian experience. What lessons have you actually that you could recollect from the past and also moving forward? What were your observations for Malaysia? And is there any key takeaways also which Malaysia may have already observed the growing trends for Singapore, Indonesia, Brunei, as well as other neighbors around the region? I'm sure that you have big observations on how they have established and failed or even succeed, and in what way have you adopted them?
Yes, in fact, in the whole journey of innovation, we are always looking around for success models. Those countries that you mentioned, bits here and there, you've got to be also innovative, how to take the good ones. I would say the key words are adopt and adapt to your own local needs. I'll give you a good example. India, for example. I think India is very much well known on the real grassroots innovation.
Really?
Yeah. You'll never believe, the kind of thing they do. Um, Use the kampung people to do their own thing so that they can produce something that they require at a cheap cost, and the government comes in to do. And I think part of their success story, our own foundation have actually adopted and improved upon. We started our own way, but when we know the Indian model, we adopted that particular aspect of the Indian model and implemented. So that is on the grassroots side. Now, just like if you talk on the research institution side, in terms of R&D, you'll find that universities do a lot of research, and they are also, of course, expected to commercialize them. That's also an innovation journey. From idea to market, turn it into a value is innovation. But that is lacking in the past, for whatever reason. The research being done, again, my own personal observation, is that they do it more for their own personal objectives, like getting recognition within the academic world, getting professorship or promotions and whatnot. And then the research work is kept in the shop. So, realizing that, for example, the Prime Minister himself has created a special division in the PM's department called UNIK, UNIK. That is Unit Inovasi Khas, translated as Special Innovation Unit, in the Prime Minister's department, only just in the middle of 2010. One of the key functions of UNIK is to scout round all this research in the shelves of all 20 public universities, for example, take them, sieve them through, and try to identify which are the top, whatever number, that can be taken off, give assistance, or do more things to commercialize. And that's an innovation exercise. Now, without which, you won't get the results. You hear me? Now, to go further, again, to show how aggressive our Prime Minister is on innovation, that's why I even call him as Malaysia's innovation champion.
The present Prime Minister?
The present Prime Minister,
okay.
Dato.
Yes.
Because he always talking about innovation, but others must make it understandable to the public, because he may talk of broad pictures, but the leaders down, the grassroots leaders, also must be able to translate. This is where the NGO comes in, people like us. So anyway, the other part which is done well, I think extremely smart, is after running that unit for about 10 to 12 months, you realize that you don't have enough muscle to really deliver. You may have a wish. This is a good lesson. A unit in the Prime Minister's department is just like any other government department. So what happened was, in late 2011, okay, it's late 2011, late 2010, there's an Act of Parliament being passed under Agensi Inovasi Malaysia. There is a Malaysian Innovation Agency passed in Parliament, an Act of Parliament in order to implement all those things. So now you have a muscle. You are legally bound to undertake the commercialization of all the research work in the whole country, and the whole policy of our IP becomes the right of the whole agency and the rest of it. So now I think that's a very bold step. You know, you have the muscle, you have the financial muscle, and what's that? That's why I have confidence that, God willing, Malaysia will achieve its objective of being a Malaysian innovative Malaysia by 2020.
Now, moving forward, what will be the 3 key lessons which Malaysia has taken away, in the area of innovation and leadership participation? Because I'm quite sure that the leadership for Malaysia, which is UMNO today.
Yes.
What are the
UMNO and the other
parties?
Parties.
Yes.
Barisan Nasional, yeah.
And what is the perceptions and the
Perception of what?
of innovation, and the key takeaways that they are going to take from the past and now moving forward at the present into the future. And I'm sure that you probably have followed through the process. Would you able to give these three takeaways?
On the political party side, is it?
Yes, the
Okay.
political perspective.
I think there's a key word come up to my mind straight away now is the word transformation. This is again a favorite word of the Prime Minister. There is a government transformation plan, there is an economic transformation plan. All this transformation exercise must be done through innovation. Now, in the political scene, there is a political transformation plan or agenda. So this is where an opportunity for such leaders to broaden the scope and say, hey, we cannot be practicing politics in the old ways. We go and preach, all the people say we are good, you listen to us, therefore you should vote us. Gone were those days. Here you got to engage with people. There are many young, bright guys, youth, who are very strong in social media, for example. They cannot be told in that manner anyway. So you got to engage them differently. You got to change the mindset and say, hey, the old rule in politics you cannot play anymore. You got to transform in your ways. And this is where the innovation exercise comes in. What is it? It means you got to think of new ideas, new approaches, new way of communicating, new way of telling that you're good. You don't go out and say, hey, I'm good. You may just engage them with activities that they appreciate, solve their problems, touch their heart, touch their needs, and at the end let them conclude that you're good. And I think this is what creativity and innovation is all about, in terms of delivering the result or that you want.
Now, moving forward, the future of Malaysia and the future leadership of Malaysia, do you think that the present Prime Minister has the capability and the strength to move forward even right through the next elections?
Yes, I think so. I think he has been extremely very active, as I said, as a very innovative.
And are the people confident of
Yes,
the future?
yeah, I think so, because his ways are different. He is more engaged. Remember the scenario of what political transformation.
Yes.
The key word is he engaged a lot with the public. He is one Prime Minister who has his own website, Facebook, Twitter.
Really?
And yes, and once in a while, periodically, he goes around and invite top 100 or top 200 for a tea session in his own house. And can you imagine the young guys walking through the Prime Minister's residence and engage with the Prime Minister? Never happened before.
But what about the Bumiputra system? Speaking about engagement and
Sure.
innovation, is the Prime Minister interested in making reforms with the Bumiputra system? Because the Bumiputra system is built in Malaysia such that it is to favor the Malay community. Now, we're not against
I understand.
we're not against the Bumiputra system, but would there be any reform so that everyone in Malaysia will have a fair opportunity?
Good question. In fact, that reform is already underway.
Really?
Yes. Because, for example,
What kind of initiatives have they introduced?
for example, again, back to an organization, you got to have a say. He introduced, again, under Prime Minister's Department, an excellent initiative, I think, called Traju, T-E-R-A-J-U. Traju is almost like, a good translation is like you're taking the lead, but that Traju means it is the body to look after the Bumiputra entrepreneurs in a new model, which is merit-based. So there is no exercise, no case of giving away like in the past. Of course, it's got to change. It's move slowly for change, but at least it is in order. They have recognized a few hundred Bumiputra companies and give them a star rating, for example, a 5-star, 4-star, 3-star, that deserve to be given some assistance and linkages for business. Now, it doesn't happen before. So now Bumitras are beginning to realize that you got to fight on merit. You got to really put your knowledge into use, create value with your knowledge, monetize your knowledge, which is what innovation is all about. You can talk innovation in many different ways, as long as you understand the fundamental. Monetizing knowledge is also a way to say about innovation.
So would that mean that more students who have achieved merits, especially if they are of other race, like the Indian, the Chinese,
Yes.
are able to enroll into local universities
Yes,
in Malaysia?
yes, it is already in place. Some of the scholarships, even the government scholarship.
What sort of percentage are we looking at?
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not in a position to express you the percentage, but I see some good lights of realization that even within the government scholarship, which is entirely allocated for the Burmese, they have already given room to the non-Burmese, i.e. the Chinese as well as the Indians.
I understand. Now, about your course today
Yeah.
in the bamboo industry,
Yeah.
how did you get into it? Is it by luck, or was it your
Okay,
passion?
good question. You see, I'm always wanting, through my history, I always like to something challenging, something new.
Really?
Yeah. That when others don't do, I like to do it. I mean, I give you a simple example. In the Senate, generally politicians will, you go in there, you can talk anything. There's no limit to what you can talk. You can talk about dress, you can talk about food, anything. But then everybody can talk. Now, I like to be different. So, in the Senate, I say, hey, Dr. Mahathir is promoting multimedia supercurricular, ICT. I have a chance to have one foot in business. I learn from the young. It's a business of the young. I learn from the young, and then now I have some knowledge of ICT. In the context of the Senate, giving services to the people at large, how do you apply ICT? That's my challenge. And I keep on talking about it until I was recognized. To cut the story short, in the CPA, Commonwealth Parliamentary Association, consisting of 57 countries in the Commonwealth, I was known as the ICT senator. Why? Because I talk all the time, application of ICT all over in life. Because then they grow puzzled, because normal politicians generally don't like to take the hard way of learning something new. Because of that, as an example, I gave a talk in one of the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association annual conference in Australia. I still remember because that was September 2011. It was in Canberra Parliament. I was presenting one paper on turning parliamentarian as a professional, knowledge-based parliamentarian. So that's my topic. Now, how do you turn parliamentarian into knowledge-based? Using ICT. That's how my appeal. And I was joking in my presentation, we politicians, we shouldn't be NATO, N-A-T-O, no action, talk only. I was joking. You know what happened? The next day after I talked, I gave the presentation in Canberra, boom, hit 9/11. So they say, my dear friend, is no more NATO, is real action now.
And speaking about real action,
Yeah.
what inspired you to take action?
Oh yeah. But yeah. So come back to green thing. Look, I've done my innovation research from zero to early 2000, and then I created Makri, and then finally I was into Yayasan Inovasi Malaysia. So that's innovation all over. I've been talking all over the country, and say, okay, what next? As a good challenge that others are not talking yet. Here comes green. I know the Prime Minister, when he came to power a couple of years ago, he set up a new ministry called Ministry of Energy, Green Technology and Water. Okay?